Welcome to the channel. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Now the UK is just seeing some sunshine after such a long time. We're getting 17 to 18 degrees Celsius, sunny days. So what better way to enjoy it than to get yourself a nice brightly colored watch. Perhaps if you end up liking what you see on this review. Of course, in front of me, you guys know what this is. This is the Thorn Doxa homage. I've been eyeing this watch for such a long time, ever since all those Doxa homages were coming out. You had the Tactical Frog, you had the Seaston, and then finally Doxa put their own version in there. Now this watch, I have to give a shout out to Jason the watch guy. He did send this back to me as he returned the San Martin GS diver, so big shout out to Jason. I know he hasn't reviewed it yet himself as he's very busy at the moment. Totally relate, got a load of watches to review and not enough time. So let's bring it back to this Thorn Doxa homage. Let's start off with specs, dimensions. Let's look at the different variations available because this does come in a few different colors. And then let's break down the design. Let's look at the quality of the case. So we start off with specs. You've got a 316L stainless steel case construction with a black PVD coated case. You do have a stainless steel screw down case back. Got a screw down crown, which is of course stainless steel also, as well as the bezel. You do have a high dome top hat style sapphire crystal with just a bit of AR coating. You do have 200 meters of water resistance, and the watch runs the Seiko NH35 movement, which by now you guys should know all about that movement. It is a 24 joule movement with a beat rate of 21,600 vibrations per hour. Ultra reliable, amazing and very resilient workhorse movement. And I think for the most part you cannot go wrong with this movement. Now in terms of dimensions, you do have a bezel diameter of 40.5 millimeters. You do have a case diameter of 44.5. You've got a lug to lug of 48.5 millimeters, a overall thickness of 15 millimeters. You do also have a 7 millimeter crown, 20 mil lug width, and a 5 millimeter side profile to the case. Now let me tell you a little bit about the variations that are possible. You do have a total of 6 different colorways. You've got the stainless steel broken down into teal, orange, and yellow. And you also have a black PVD coated case in the colors that I mentioned, and also in a black and red combination. Now this can be purchased from a variety of different stores. The one I found it on was on the Watch You Seek store, as you'll see on the right hand side of the screen. Price is around £117. Now I think for that price, that's what we kind of expect on AliExpress. It definitely is affordable. It's in the right category for most people, keeping this watch affordable. Next question, should you buy this watch? What is different about this? Because we've seen a few Doxa homages. I think we can all agree Seaston is the best one of the bunch. We know where the Tactical Frog failed. Now, looking at the bezel, I think Thorn have made similar mistakes to what the Tactical Frog did. We know how people feel about it as well. And I think just on that element of the bezel, they should have just gone with a 60-minute bezel because then at least it still remains functional and practical. Problem with this bezel is the numbers don't make sense. Only one half of the bezel rotates, and it just doesn't make sense. You also have no loom pip, so therefore removing further practicality. So in that situation, or rather they went for just a 60-minute bezel. I don't think people would mind that as long as they had a functioning or practical bezel. Now in terms of the homage aspect, interestingly, Thorn have done some really nice things. They're not a carbon copy like the Seaston is, and one of the comments from the Tactical Frog, a lot of people did enjoy the fact that it had its own touches and it wasn't a direct copy of the Doxa homage, which I think Thorn have kind of gone away with the design and they've put their own input in there, which is a positive. I really do like that. The case is a bit different. Yes, you can see a bit of Doxa in there, but there's a reason I mentioned that 5 millimeter case profile. It gives the case a really lovely profile, nice and slim. The overall thickness, even though it is 15 millimeters on wrist, you don't really mind that because of this tall top hat sapphire crystal, and of course the case back does stick out slightly. And I think on the stainless steel case version, looking at some of the images, I do really like some of the smaller details that are present. For example, the edge of the bezel, that lip is polished on the stainless steel version. Of course, you can't see that come across on this PVD version. And the edge of the case is also polished. So nice finer details present on the SS version, should you choose to go for that. Now, in terms of the other aspects of it, which I really do like, is that box style sapphire crystal. I like that telescopic view you get. It makes the dial look quite a bit smaller. I like the height of it. It does help it stand out and look slightly different. In terms of the other aspects, you can see a bit of a crossover between the design on the Doxa and what Thorn have done. You've still got the off-center lettering. You've got Thorn to your top left corner, Thorn automatic, in just simple text. It's okay. It's black. It is visible as well. And your bottom right hand, you've got Divers 200 meters limited edition. I doubt it is limited, but I don't know why they've just put that on there. Now, the actual dial setup itself, you've got a simple minute track printed around the dial, and you've got the sub-second split in black, very cleanly done, really legible as well. And you've also got that crosshair style coming away from the hour markers of the 12, 6 and 9. Now what's different about the Thorn, you can see the hour markers very, very different. You've got sort of bullet tip hour markers or teeth like indexes. At the 12 you've got an elongated sort of triangular marker, and at the 6 you've got the similar marker to the 9. So, I do appreciate that. I like that it's different. They haven't gone for the markers that we've seen on both the Tactical Frog and the Seaston. They are trying to differentiate themselves slightly. Handset used is, again, a nice touch. They have great length on the handset. You can see that seconds hand just scraping the top of the minute track, actually going over it. And you've got this large arrow tip for the hour and a tapered minute hand. The handset itself has been finished in a glossy black coating. You do have a slight chamfer on there. You can just see how the light reflects off there. So a very clean design. It is kind of different away from the Doxa style homage that we have seen, and it kind of adds its own touch on there, which that is, I think, the best thing about this watch. So I think that's one of the key features of this watch, the fact that it is homaging the Doxa, but I think it has done things differently enough where it's not a copy but just a different interpretation, which is what I really like. The biggest turn off on this watch is going to be this bezel, as I already said. In terms of bezel rotation, very nice actually. It is solid, very precise, nice defined clicks, enough resistance on the rotation as well, and it lines up perfectly. The only negative about this bezel is the fact that it does have a bit of backplay in there, but that's not an issue because the bezel aligns really well. The clicks are very firm. That is just a bit of bounce that is in the spring, so I'm not really bothered about that. The strap that this watch comes to you on is, as you can see in front of you, a bright yellow waffle style strap. It is made out of silicone. You do also have this glossy black PVD coated buckle. The dial is loomed, C3 Luminova. Let's have a quick look at the loom. We've got C3 Luminova. The layering is okay. I mean, it's just about okay. You can see slight bit of patchiness on the edges of some of those hour markers. As you can see, the hour markers aren't applied, or they're not thick enough. They don't really stand out from the dial. So I think for how they look, I think there is enough loom, and it does work. It is legible. Of course, there's no loom pip as mentioned on the bezel, which kind of makes it ineffective if you were to time anything with that bezel. But yeah, loom's okay. It's not going to be super long lasting or super bright as we see on some of the other watches available on AliExpress at this price point as well. But yeah, I think it's more than adequate. So here's the Thorn Doxa homage on my 6.5-inch wrist. On wrist it wears extremely comfortably. Like I said, that case shape, this cushion style case shape, universally is a great comfortable case to wear. The thickness doesn't really affect your wrist because most of it is on that top hat sapphire crystal, and at certain angles it looks really good, this bubble glass sort of look. Comfort levels there, lightweight as well. The strap is okay, so waffle style strap, very soft on the silicone. You are limited to obviously strap options because of the color you have. However, you're not limited to the style of strap. You can go for tropical straps, maybe some rally style leather straps, anything which is basically yellow, maybe black if you want to be bold as well. Now, to summarize, what do I really think about this watch and the Thorn Doxa? I think let's start off with some positives. It is built quite well. The bezel is perfectly aligned, rotates good. The case is beautiful, really nice done case. I'm actually really impressed with the quality of that case. As I said, if you want to see a bit more detailing, go for the stainless steel version. You've got that polished lip on the bezel, and you've got like a polished lip on the edge of the side profile. Nice features, and also from the pictures, the brushing looks to be very fine as well. You also have decent loom, decent handset as well. Nice enough dial, and plus you got a whole host of colors, really bright summery colors, and it's probably the perfect time to get yourself a summer watch. The only negative that I can see is this bezel. If you find yourself that you cannot get over this bezel, you know, the whole you know, depth rating, the fact that it doesn't have a lume pip as well, it just isn't practical enough, then obviously suggest you don't buy it. If you find yourself you can't get over that, I think that could be a deal breaker for most people. If, however, it isn't a deal breaker, then all of what I said in the positives definitely applies, and this is a good watch to get if you can overlook just some of the errors on the bezel. So that's my review on the Thorn Doxa Homage. Thank you, Jason, for sending in. Thank you, you guys, for watching. See you on the next video.